Hey y'all, welcome to Just Between Us, where women are becoming their best selves, and you know what we doing, bringing them men behind us, baby. I'm your host, Kimmy, and this is a safe space where we hold bold conversations, tell the truth, and talk about love, growth, without all them damn filters, baby. Now listen, today gonna be a little heavy topic, but we have all been there and we really want to join and help somebody. It's divorce after the breakup. Woo! And as you know, divorce do two things. It either break your butt down or it rebirth the most powerful version of yourself. So tonight we're about to get in it and we're about to talk about confidence. We're about to talk about leadership, partnership, and how men and women rise above the chapter that closed. Now, this ain't no pity party now. Let me get that together. This is a powerful conversation. So sit back, get comfortable, get your popcorn, because it's just between us. And I got my two friends that best talk about it the most, honey. And actually, we have to say this because all three of us has been divorced. So, baby, this is a powerhouse. So, Ashley, you introduce yourself.
Well, my name is Ashley Luckett. I am 42. I am divorced. It's a newer divorce. My divorce was final like in the fall of last year, but I was married for 12 years prior to that. I have
Okay.
two boys. I'm a nurse. I've been a nurse for be 20 years this year. So that's a
Okay.
little about me.
Okay. And Tim, tell me about you.
All right, let me talk about it. Well, I'm Tim Green. I've been divorced twice. So Ashley, listen, I one up you, baby.
Actually, you haven't because
I
I just
have
didn't
not.
say I've been married twice.
Did you say, hey, we got to talk about it now. Don't leave it out. So it's two times.
You are right.
So, and look, I just look at Kim's face. She didn't know that. I don't think she knew that. Yeah. Look at
No,
This will be good. This will be good though.
this will be a family.
Right. Hey, we're a family. So listen, first marriage, 15 years. So I was divorced from that one, and I was just recently divorced, probably about maybe 6 months ago, 4 months ago. So yeah, I have three boys. Each of them are graduating at some point this year. So I got one senior in high school that's graduating. I got one middle schooler that's graduating and going to high school. And then I have an elementary son that's graduating and going to middle school. So that's who I am.
Well, shut the front door.
Shut the front door hard. Lock it.
We wasn't ready.
Mm-mm.
This is going to be great. Okay. Tim, this is going to be so great. This is one of my bestest of friends. And I'm telling you, when I tell you, we talk about this daily.
We do.
Tim,
Yep.
when I tell you we talk about this daily, she's mostly like him. I can't believe this. Like literally, she's every day.
All the time.
saying, I
I
can't
get it.
believe this.
I don't think either one of us thought we'd be here, but we're here now, so let's unpack it. And we still breathing.
Man, let's talk. I'm ready. Let's get on in it, baby. This from her perspective, audience. And first question, Ashley, what surprised you the most after this?
Honestly, for me, because I did not mention in the introduction I've been married twice, but I have been married twice. So for me, with this particular divorce, it was just the fact of being divorced. Because when I got divorced the first time, I was like, well, this is it. This is going to last. We're going to make it. It's going to be great. I'm not leaving for nothing. And then to have to make the decision, because in both marriages, I made the decision to leave. So just the fact of, honestly, the shock of, my God, I'm doing this again. I can't believe it. So I know for me, that was probably the biggest thing, because I never thought I would be getting a second divorce ever.
Tim?
All right, so I'll tell you, listen, my first divorce, and it was rough, y'all. At some point we may talk about it. But what surprised me most about myself in the first divorce was the level of strength and endurance that I had. And I gotta give all that to God, because it was a messy, painful situation that I never in my life thought I would be in, because I'm super old school, super, hey, I'll be married 50 years, grandkids, loving my life type deal. So it took a toll. So the level of strength and endurance that I had during that time to be able to keep myself afloat with my kids and just kind of just maintain my sanity in that first marriage was what kind of shocked me most about myself. My second marriage it wasn't even close to what I went through in my first marriage. But I would just kind of piggyback off Ashley and say, hey, I felt like I'm here again. How could this be? Like, what is wrong with me? Am I broken? Are we broken? Like, what's going on? So I think it was the divorce for the second marriage that made me kind of feel like, wow, I'm doing this again. Embarrassing. Like, what will people think? I'm two-time divorcee, So that was the biggest part for me. But the level of peace that I have now, I think is most um most surprising for me. And that I got to give all that to God.
So I'm gonna ask this, and I know I need to go to Ashley, and I like hearing you say because both of you guys have the same thing, and that just shows how the devil can get into your head and take you down a road like where am I? What helped you or what is helping you stay level? And I think you said God, of
Yeah,
course.
when I tell you, I gotta give it all to him. So for me, the silence, being able to remove myself from all the noise and just so that I can actually clearly hear from him about it was the thing that helped me. Because I'll tell you, when I got divorced, God never showed me what they did wrong. He showed me who I was in the situation. So I think for me, just being able to talk to him and to be in a space where I could hear from him is pretty much what kept me. So just really digging into the word, there were nights when you cry, when you're angry, when you go through every single emotion, but he's really kept me through all of that. And I'm really at a place of peace right now.
And actually I give you that same question. What keeps you sane?
I would say my friends. For me, I needed that. And even you, it makes a difference when you can talk to someone who has been through it and they can kind of identify. I have a couple of friends, one of which has not dealt with this. And so I felt like at times she was a little hard. It was hard for her to comprehend and understand certain things or why I made certain decisions because it's one thing to be in a situation and then say on from the outside looking in what you will do and won't do. But when you're in it, it is totally different. So for me, having the right people around, I'm gonna be honest with you. Whereas he mentioned his faith and everything like that. And then don't get me wrong, I'm a believer in Christ Jesus and I pray and all the things. But for me, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna say the thing that people don't want to say out loud. I was mad with God because I felt like, okay, God, this time I did it right. I went to you first. I prayed about it first. I prayed through the marriage. Even when it was getting rocky, I was still giving it to you and still believing for restoration of the marriage and restoration and things, for my husband to change and the ending is still the same. So I struggled a bit more with God, with the aftermath of it, and my relationship with God suffered because, and I'm still working. So whereas you have more peace, I am working on it. It's better now than what it was, but I'm still working on it. And I'm okay with saying that because that's a transparent
Yeah.
feeling, and that's what I am in the moment. Like I'm starting to see some things. I'm starting to understand it is, with some things it just is what it is. But I kind of felt let down by God. Like why if I felt like, well, what did I do wrong? Or did I miss an instruction? Or did I think this was you and it wasn't you? So I'm still unpacking some of that. But for me, like I said, it is a combination. I'm still praying and asking God to kind of give some clarity to this, but also my friends. But I will say as well, I did counseling. So we did couples counseling kind of up until the end. I even did some individual counseling with my pastor at the time, but I also started doing professional counseling, which I actually still do now. Obviously I don't need as much as I did then, but I still did counseling. So for me, from a mental standpoint, I needed to address my mental health because I was depressed. I crying, and I still have moments where I fluctuate a little bit because I'm like, okay, man, I really wanted this to work, but it didn't. So just working through that. Like I said, do the counseling, my friends, even just time I spend with them. I was so engulfed in the marriage as a wife and as a mother that I neglected myself. And so a lot of this is part of just the self-care that I'm doing post divorce, just trying to get, in a better place, to be a better person.
Ashley, can I piggyback off that real quick? Because I want
Sure.
to make sure you understand. Listen, I am definitely not saying that, hey, I didn't go through that. Because I'm gonna tell you, everything that you just said, I went through it. Sleepless nights, up all night, trying to figure out, okay, God, I did everything right this time. I was, you know, I thought this was gonna work. Hey, I prayed for this. I prayed and asked you. You were in this the entire time. But so I went through all of that. So I just want to encourage you because where I am right now, it did not start out that way. It was horrible. There were sleepless nights. There were nights where I was up, couldn't understand. But what you're saying about counseling, friends, stay there, feel what you feel, and you're going to come out on the other side. You're going to have that peace. So just wanted to tell you that.
I appreciate that.
Okay. Okay. I like that. Okay. Another question. What was harder, letting the marriage go or redefine your future, Ashley?
Ooh, for me, it was letting the marriage go. Because, like I said, I really, being the second marriage, I was all in. I was like, there's just nothing that's going to stop me from seeing this through to the end. And so, for it to end this way in divorce, that for me is the harder thing than actually me feeling like I'm at a stage of redefining myself. It was definitely letting go of the marriage.
What about you, Tim?
Well, for me, so the first one, my first marriage, it was redefining the future because we got married young. I want to say we were 23. We got
Really?
married. We dated in college. So I was married pretty much most of my adult life when, in my first marriage. So for me, I define myself as a man. I was a husband and I was a father and I was a son, right? So when all of that went away abruptly, I was left trying to figure out, hey, who am I as an individual, as an actual man? I'll never forget when my aunt came over and she asked me one day, this is prior to my marriage, she asked me, hey, I was with my kids and my ex-wife was gone. And she was like, where's your ex-wife? I was like, oh, she's on a girls' night, A, B, C, and D. And my aunt asked me, she said, hey, do you ever do anything for you? And that question still sticks with me to this day because I could not answer it. I had no clue who I was outside of a husband and a father. So in my first marriage, it was difficult for me once I got out of that marriage to figure out, hey, who am I? What do I like? I had forgotten all that. Like, I don't know what I like to do, who I am. I
Yeah.
can't tell you. So that was the first marriage. But then I think in the second marriage, it was more so letting go of the marriage because, like we said before, I felt like we had done everything right. God was involved in it. I felt like He had ordained this. And it's like, okay, why am I here? Like, why are we at this point to where we can't figure this thing out? So, yeah.
How long was your second marriage?
Second marriage was about a year and a half, maybe, or a little bit over a year.
Wow.
Okay, so I see we flip-flop there. So my
Yeah.
first marriage was the shorter one. I
Yeah.
think from I do to divorce was 2 years approximately. And then my second marriage was the longer one
So,
versus yours. So even when you speak on your identity in the first marriage, so with my first marriage, I didn't have we didn't have kids together or anything like that. So it really was really just me. So even though I lost myself to a degree, not quite just because of the length of time we were together, and then I didn't have the extra responsibility or at the time of kids and everything in the first marriage.
right. Yeah.
So, Ashley, how was your confidence change being on your own?
My
These
God.
are all the questions. Oh my goodness. How has your confidence changed being by yourself?
This is a lot. It's a heavy question. Because
Right.
I feel like I'm in the process of building my confidence in being single. And so I know you and I spoke on that where I said this was one of the things I told God I never wanted to be was a single parent. And so I'm having issue with that within myself because I'm like, well, I feel like don't know how to navigate this. So obviously when you're in a situation and it's new, you're not as confident in it because it's uncharted territory for you. So just being a single parent in this season for the most part, like, don't get me wrong, he's in their life. He does speak with them and things like that. But just I'm used to him being in the home and helping more with the kids and things like that. So in that way, I'm not as confident, but I'm getting there. But I'm getting there because, like I said, it's just getting, the adjustment of confidence as far as me as a woman, and things like that. I know it wasn't my fault. I'm not gonna get into all of the details of that, but it does when certain things happen in a marriage. I think it's natural to look at yourself and say, or at least for me, and say, well, what did I do wrong? Or what could I have done differently? And so in that way, I know I have beat myself up about could I have done something different? And I did a similar thing where I went to God and I was like, okay, I cannot change him, right? But I can change me. So show me me. And he did that. And there were some things, honestly, I had to go back and repent for and even apologize for. I didn't handle this right or didn't speak to you right on this subject matter, what have you. But like I said, from a confidence level as a woman, even like dating, I'm not confident. Better than I was, but it's just something that I'm in the process of building just because a part of me still feels like, girl, you have been married twice. People are going to think, well, what's wrong with you? Well, what's going on? Or, especially on the outside looking in before they know maybe more of the facts of what actually happened. But I think for me, it's a process and I'm in the process. And even though I've seen some progress, it's still some work to be done for me.
Okay. What about your confidence, Tim?
Yeah, I kind of like what she said about that. For me, so I'll say as a father, just and as a man, as a professional, there's complete confidence. I mean, I go at it. But when it comes down to being on my own, there is a little bit of hesitancy there when it comes to, dating or putting yourself out there. Because like I said before, it's kind of like, man, this guy's been divorced twice, and when people don't know the story, if you knew my story, you'd be like, oh. But when people don't know the story, it's a little bit difficult, initially, because it's like, hey, are you married? Have you been married? Yeah, I've been divorced twice. And it's like, ooh, you know what I'm saying? That's kind of like a
Right.
red
You're
flag. It's
right.
like,
I get it.
oh, God.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's
You
like,
are
what's
right.
wrong with him? He crazy? It's like, what? 2 times? Is 2 women? Like, what's going on? So,
No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
so that kind of messes with you a little
It
bit,
does.
even if hey, I'm a good guy, or just in your case, Ashley, you're like, I'm a good woman. I know what I've done. I know I ended up leaving those 2 marriages. If somebody approaches you and they say that and they ask you that and you say, hey, I'm divorced. I've been divorced twice. So you didn't even want to say you're divorced second time,
I
but
didn't.
you know what I'm saying? So when you say that, a man is going to automatically, and vice versa, a woman's going to automatically say, what's wrong with her? Or on my side, ooh, what's wrong with him? And then it just takes a lot for you to be able to navigate through that and to see the actual person and see that, okay, she's actually a beautiful soul that just experienced life, and I want to get to know her better. So for me, it's just getting to the point to where I have to navigate through that. It's draining for me to even think about.
Yeah. It was one time the guy he was trying to talk to me. I wasn't trying to talk to him. He was like, I know he didn't do nothing wrong because he looked like a nice guy. It must was you. I
You
was
see what
like,
I mean?
what? What
Yeah,
is that to say?
It is.
He don't mean like, how do you know that?
right. Exactly.
And people are mean.
Like, sir, do you know me? Like, what are we talking about?
I did. I was like, dang. And he said it. He was like, I know it wasn't him because he looked like he's this type of guy. And I was like,
Yeah,
huh?
Looks can be deceiving.
right.
Looks can be deceiving. I've been
And
told that. It's so funny you say that. I've been told that. I told a person about a little more, not all detail, but some detail of what I really went through. And that is the first thing that person said. They were like, I really can't believe he did that. He seems like he's this and he's that. And I would never think in meeting him, he would have done some of those things. So you can't go by what just the outside, because some people mask things well. That's just what it is.
Just imagine being a man going through that, because for women, when when they think about divorce, when it comes to women, it's what did he do?
Hmm.
Right? So it's like, hey, well,
Hmm.
not in Kim's situation just a second ago, but it's like, hey, right?
Right.
Yeah, yeah, that's a one-off. I don't know what he was thinking about.
Okay.
You're right. So it's like, well, what did he do? Because if you guys hear my story, I'll give it to y'all at some point, or I may make y'all buy the book. But
No, my
We're gonna buy the book anyway. We'll buy the book.
with a man, it's like, okay, when I went through my first divorce, I guarantee you, everybody like, what did he do? He was cheating, wasn't he? He probably had women and doing all this type of stuff, and I wasn't doing any of that. Like you, I'm far from that. So for a man, is especially a man that was trying to do what he was supposed to do with his family, it's even more difficult. And sometimes I don't even have the energy to try to explain to you what was going on. I'm tired. You know what? Just think what you're gonna think. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And me and Ashley talk like we're really good friends. And when I tell you all the time, we are doing better because we can break somebody down, Tim. We'll be like, girl, he probably this. And I'll
Yep.
be like, friend, he probably ain't none of that. He probably just is stuck in his own ways. And so
Hmm.
that's right.
we're
Yep.
always kind of going back and forth with that,
Yep.
just breaking. It was like, yeah, you're probably right. And we have to catch ourselves because I don't know why, as humans, we automatically think the worst of somebody.
We do. Yep. We go
I'm
into the
actually the
negative.
opposite,
Uh-oh.
which a lot of times is what I feel like gets me in trouble because I'm more of the, you know, everybody's done things and, there's good in everybody. And I'm always the nicer one when it comes to that, or try to give a person the benefit of the doubt. And a lot of times it bites me in the ear.
Yeah, and I'm a real big well, give that person grace, or you know what you did, and you don't even need to be taught.
Exactly.
So I'm big on that too. So both of y'all, or either one of y'all, tell me advice would you give a newly divorced person?
I could talk about it, but you go ahead, Ash.
No, I'm gonna let you
Yeah.
take that one first.
All right, so let me tell you. So listen, take your time.
Mm,
You have to take your time and you have to find yourself after divorce because people really don't understand. I don't care if it was a year and a half, if it was 15 to 20 years, it takes a toll on you when you give yourself and your all to somebody and all of a sudden that's no longer the case. Like it really does. It takes a toll physically, mentally, it takes a toll on you spiritually, which as we talked about a little bit earlier. So take your time, find yourself. Do not date too soon after a divorce. Leave, take some time to figure out who you are, heal, make sure you heal, get some counseling. And like Ashley was saying earlier, get you some friends who are going to be there in your corner, who are going to talk to you, who are going to build you up, build that confidence and give you that, that counsel. Hopefully it's godly counsel and just kind of let you know, hey, baby, it's okay. You're
yeah.
awesome. And look, and when I say godly counsel, I don't mean, hey, oh girl, God is good all the time, God is good. I mean, sometimes, hey, we're going to cry. Sometimes we're going to cuss some folks out.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's going to be some difficult conversations. Sometimes we're going to drink some wine and just go to sleep. Allow yourself to feel what you feel, whether it be, hey, I'm angry. Hey, I can't stand him. Hey, I hate him. Hey, Kim, you want to go slash his tires just to
There
make
you
ourselves feel
go. There
good?
you go.
Like, allow yourself to feel that and do that. There's nothing
And do
wrong
that.
with that. Allow yourself to feel that and then work your way through that heal before you step into anything else. That's my advice to anybody who goes through a divorce.
But Tim, why you had to say about the sexual ties? Because we actually have been there.
Yeah,
Right.
listen,
Like
man.
way, 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 way back.
Y'all driving by that man's house. Stop that.
Now I'm not gonna do that, baby. I'm grown for real now. I definitely got
No,
it.
but that was younger days. That was younger days.
Right.
But
I'm talking about
yes.
young.
Yep.
But yes.
So
And
that's
and
my
allow
advice.
yourself to be out. We out. Like me and Ashley, we definitely have girls' night or girls' day. Hey, we need to pop out. We need to see each other. Just so you're not a mom tonight. You're not a dad tonight. You're Ashley. You're
No, I know that helped me. Like as far as this, like you talked about working on who you are post, divorce. That helped me. Like getting with Kim, hanging with close friends. We do a family dinner. Like our family does a family dinner every night. So like my dad, my mom, like more immediate family, sister, niece, nephews kind of thing every month. So even that helps us all getting together and just being around family. So because like you said, in a marriage, you're your mom and your dad, and you got the responsibility of a parent and just all these things. And I know for me, you said your aunt asked you, but my therapist asked me, "Well, what do you do for yourself?" And I was the same way. I couldn't think of one thing that I did for myself. Everything was about the kids, and my boys both play soccer. So sports related things or things that was about them, or I couldn't think of anything. I knew of things I enjoyed. I did know a few things, but I wasn't doing them because I didn't make time for that. So I would say newly divorced, I definitely feel like counseling, whether it's with a pastor or a professional or like me, a combination of both is a great thing. I don't know why in the Black community, we are just, oh my God, when someone says oh, I'm not crazy. It's not about that. The truth of the matter is I started counseling like a year ago. I actually wanted to wait until after my marriage. We were separated at the time, but I had some wise counsel. I had some close friends that were like, I think you need to go on and start early. Go ahead and get started. Because my mind was like, how can I get counseling? And then he's here. And, but I'm so glad I started then, been for me and did not wait. But counseling helped me being around my friends. And it's not like we out all the time, but I make time for that. And so and I even do self-care things. So for me, I get my nails done and get pedicures. I do, and I wasn't doing that. And that's something that I've started because that's something that's just for me. And when I say that helps, it helps. Obviously praying and spending time with God, because in that you gain clarity, in that you gain understanding of some things. And it's some things that we truly need to give to him. Because the word says, "Cast your cares on me, for I care for you." So I think a lot of times we want to continue to carry the weight when we need to give it to God and leave it there.
Yeah,
So
we're
that's
trying
why.
to control things. So, and I'll
And
tell
I
you
like
just
that.
to
And actually, I
what?
was like separate from both of you guys. I didn't tell anybody. Nobody knew I was divorced.
Right.
And I played it off. Hell, to
Wait,
be
Ashley,
honest,
you ain't know she was divorced either? You
No,
just look
she
like,
didn't tell.
what is
No,
she doing? What?
no. When I found out, I was like, I can't believe it. I couldn't believe it that she
he
didn't
was
tell me.
like, "Wait, do you sure you got the paperwork?
Right.
Do you sure?" I was like, "Yeah, the paperwork is somewhere."
Yeah, nah.
Yes, nobody knew. Because I still operated everything with him, and nobody knew. And sometimes I'm gonna be honest, I didn't even think I was divorced because I that's how I operated.
Mhm.
Was it? Yeah, truly a whole divorce. And in my head, I was operating like everything is fine. And that's crazy. Are you crazy? You have to take that time. So I never took that time. And I was trying to heal. I was trying to do all the things while operating in a marriage, in a one marriage. Does that make sense?
It does make sense.
Mhm.
And while I was doing that, I probably held myself back more than anything. And so like I said, you have to take the time. You have to figure out what you have going on.
And
If you do not, you will lose who God made you. And that was my thing. Like he didn't make me for somebody else's stumping pad. He made me for me. So what do you want me to do? What is it for me to do? So you have to find who you are. So that would be the advice I would tell a newly divorced person. And so let's get on into it. Tim,
what
what
you
Mhm.
does
got?
confidence in a woman looks like to you?
Ooh-wee. All right, let's talk about it. See, let me
Let's
tell y'all
talk about
something.
it.
Look, I am old school, okay? I'm old school. So I'm gonna give y'all examples. So I'm old school. I'm still that courtship guy.
Aw.
And look, I may be delusional. Like you said, look, like it is now, good Lord, I may be delusional, but I'm still going to say what I'm going to say because this is who I am. Like I'm
Okay.
old school. So confidence for me looks like a Claire Huxtable, Aunt Viv, um, y'all remember Harriet from,
Absolutely, from Family Matters.
yes. So
I
I'm
love
straight
family.
old school. Yes, family map. So I'm super old school like that. So for me, it's a woman who knows who she is. She doesn't have to, show everything to
Mm,
turn heads in a room. Like, where we are nowadays, I mean, you can go on Instagram and you can see, I mean, everything. But for me, confidence in a woman is, hey, I know who I am. I know when to speak, and I can speak with power. I can command the room,
Mhm.
and I don't have to be half naked to do it. You know, I could be professional. I can step back and stand beside my husband when I need to, or I can hold my husband up when I need to. So for me, that's just the epitome of confidence in a woman for me.
I like that.
I do, Ashley.
Do you feel like you speaking for most men when you say that? I'm just asking.
I'm going to be honest, probably not.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. I just wanted to clarify. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah. So no, like I said, I'm different though. I'm old school. You know, I grew up with, you know, my mom. I got the utmost respect for my mom. I had the utmost respect for women. And like I said, I may be delusional, but I am that married 50-year grandkids, great grandkids. We sitting out on the pier at 60 years old, fussing at each other, talking about what we're gonna do, knowing ain't neither one of us going anywhere. That's my type deal. So
Yeah. 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 Ashley, what's
Yes.
confidence in a man? And what part of that confidence is demanding for you?
Confidence in a man. I love a man with vision. And one thing that we hear as women is men want a woman that's submissive and all these things. And I don't know if I speak for the majority, but I can only speak for me. I have no problem being submissive to a man who is confident in who they are. They are a leader. Leader doesn't necessarily mean a dictator per se, but knows how to lead and has a vision. So that for me, there's something about a man who knows what he wants to do. And some men will have a vision, but have not taken the time to figure out, well, this is what I need to do to get there. And I know there's this scripture, and I don't know exactly, so don't quote me on that, but it basically talks about who builds a house and doesn't count the cost. And so I think there's a lot of times where some men are moving in that way where they'll say, I want to do this, but don't have not really thought it through of what that looks like. So that's what I'm saying. When I say vision, I'm talking about vision and I'm talking about clear cut. This is what I'm looking for. That's confident to me. That's what I want. Personally, financial stability is just important. Not saying you got to make X amount of thousand a year. No, but there needs to be some stability in it, which I feel like comes with leadership and all the things. I want a man who can lead me even from a spiritual standpoint. So those things are what confidence looks like to me. You got to know that word. Because if you're going to love me like Christ loved the church, you got to know that. You got to know what's in the word as it relates to that. So that's what I look for. I can get all on more superficial things, but I'm not really that because I don't like to put a man in a physical box of this height or this skin tone. I have a preference. I think most people have a preference. However, I'm not so caught up in that if you're not a certain height or a certain build or whatever the case may be. No, it's more about a personality. It's more about being a leader. It's more about being emotionally intelligent. There's a lot of men that are not emotionally intelligent. There's a lot of men that don't know how to communicate. Communication is sexy to me. A man that can articulate what it is he wants, what it is he needs. I love it. So that's what a confident man looks like to me.
You got something to say, Tim?
Content?
no, I was just like, I'll say, well, all right then, sister.
Right.
Look, that was in Luke, the verse you're talking about.
Luke, okay. I knew it was
Yeah,
New
when it talks
Testament.
about counting the costs, it's in all the Gospels. And then when you talked about how we as men are supposed to love our wives, we supposed to love them like Christ loved the church. Christ died for the church, so you need to be able to go there when it comes to your woman. And I think where a lot of it gets messed up is we look at the word submit, and a man thinks, hey, you should submit to me. That means you need to do what I say, when I say it, how I say it.
Woo.
No, that's not what that means. It means that she will submit to you if she sees that you are submitted to Christ and
That's
you
it.
are following, because you don't know how to love her if you're not submitted to Christ. Because the only way you can love her truly is if you know what Christ says about how you should love her. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's where we're on that.
Yeah. And I like you brought up submissive because that is a big thing.
Yeah.
You supposed to do this, you're supposed to do that. Wait a minute.
We get that a lot. Women get that a lot.
We get that a lot.
And I'm okay. That's the thing. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with being a submissive woman, but I don't like when sometimes men will use that part of the Bible. Like, let's read all of it. Let's read
yeah,
all of it. Now, don't just stop at that part. Let's
yeah,
keep going and read
yeah.
around it and make sure we got it in context. That's all. Like,
That's what you
so
were
my
saying. Like,
thing
what am I
is,
submitting to?
right. So biblically, if you're loving a woman like Christ loved the church, you wouldn't even have to ask her to submit. She would
Natural.
naturally.
Yeah.
It's going to be a natural thing. When I see I'm safe, and that's another thing that I safety. And men, a lot of men think safety looks like just physical, but no, we women want emotional safety, financial safety, physical safety as well. But there's just other areas of safety that we look for. And once I feel safe, even in leadership, can I trust that you can make these decisions and not have me? Because I've been in situations in marriage where my husband is saying we're going to do this, and so many things do not happen like he said. And it's not that things won't happen, it's life. But once again, let's get a game plan. Let's see. And I'm the supportive one. Let us get a game plan. Not just you. Let me kick back and watch you do it. No, let us, two have become one. We are one now. So let us get a game plan. But in a lot of cases, from a leadership standpoint, how some men look at it, I don't want to hear from her. I don't want to, like if I suggest, so I don't want, they kind of feel like they got it. You know, you know what I'm saying? The thing about it is, if you loving a woman in those ways, submission would be
That,
natural for most women. We can't help but do it.
yeah.
That's how I feel about that.
So, Tim, these next three questions are really yours. Now,
Okay.
don't worry.
Yeah, let's go.
She got hers coming, but these
Oh,
next
God.
three questions is yours. Tell me what do confident women change your dating dynamic?
Confident women change my dating dynamic. No, I like a confident woman. For me, it's when confidence turns into arrogance.
Mm,
It's a turnoff for me because being confident and being arrogant are two different things. So for me, like this whole, I'm an independent woman, I don't need no man. For me, that's played out. Like that is foolishness and it's played out. So I'll be the first man on here to tell you guys, yes, you do. You do need a man. And I'll be the first one to tell you that we need our women. Point blank, period. You weren't created to be independent and we weren't created to be independent. We were created to be interdependent, which is we need each other. The way God created us, he didn't just create. Matter of fact, when he created Adam, he was like, wait a minute.
hmm. That's
It's
it.
not good for a man to be alone. He needs somebody, I need to create him a helpmate.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
So I hate that whole thing when men act like I don't, man, I ain't studying that woman. I don't need no woman, A, B, C, and D. I can do this. You're lying. You are. And I'm not going to sit on this podcast and tell y'all that I don't need our women. We
Yep.
need y'all. I need my mama. I need, my wife beside me. That's what we need. And it's the same thing with women. Yes, you do. You do need a woman. So for me, a confident woman does not change the dating dynamics for me, but it's when you become prideful and arrogant and start thinking that, hey, I'm better than you. You need to get up and do this. I make all the money. You need to do this. I'm independent. I don't need you. That's when it becomes, it changes the dynamics for me.
So, because a lot of men operate in what you're talking about. She did, and women do too, both. I'm gonna be honest, and I hate that independent mess.
I do too.
I be like, nah, I need something else. That's not gonna work for me. It's only two things. It's man and woman. I mean, what we're doing here.
Right.
So,
I mean, it's something I think we're taught, as women. Unfortunately, in a lot of cases, the men are not what they need to be, from a financial end and things like that. Or even fathers, let's just be honest. I hate to say that. But to the point that me coming up, my parents were definitely like, not saying you don't need a man. I won't say that, but they were big on don't depend on one because a lot of these jokers ain't hitting on nothing and they're not going to do this and that. And make sure you make your own money and be able to do your own thing so you don't have to depend on them. And that's kind of how we're taught. And I just think as time has gone on, it has really taken on a whole nother form, really. Because I'm like, I agree with everything you're saying as far as these women and we don't need a man and all this. Who told you that? Because really you do.
Yep.
Really you do. And it's not even all necessarily all about money and things like that, especially some women that make a certain amount of money. It's more than that. Surely having a man to these women is more than a financial amount.
Yeah.
But to some women, it's, oh, I'm this and I'm that. And it's just like what you said with the confidence that shifts to arrogance. Because just like men or women, they're just some certain people that when they start making a certain kind of money and can move a certain type of way, the ego shoots up to the roof. It just does. Like sometimes when they say that when people get money like that, you kind of see who they really are. You got some that are going to be humble no matter what they're making. And you got some that have this type of status or drive this type of car and live in this type of neighborhood. And now we're looking down on everybody.
Absolutely. And honestly, just as we talking from a biblical standpoint, I think that's an attack on family, period, because we're talking about divorce here. We were created to be together. It was God's plan for there to be one woman and one man, and us to be fruitful and multiply and raise kids under the umbrella of marriage. So you got you got God, that's coming down to the man and the woman, and then we're all bringing our children into that same community when it comes to marriage. So I think we have been, just from society's standpoint, we have been just so inundated with this false narrative that we're
Hmm.
supposed to be independent. We're not. If we're talking about, especially from a spiritual standpoint, no, we were created for each other. That's how it's supposed to be. Divorce is not something that God wanted to happen for us. And I've seen that even in my kids. They don't function the same outside of a household with mom and dad coming home that love us sitting down together at the table, eating, praying together, us going to church together. You see it. You can say you don't, but I see the difference in my children.
I see
And
difference in mine.
yeah, and then we're left trying to just kind of pick up the pieces and just hoping that we haven't damaged them to a point of no repair. So yeah, I think we're created for that. So yeah, that's my 2 cents.
So with the men, do you think it's more intimidation or you think it's more fear?
Honestly, I think they're kind of intertwined. Um, yeah, I think sometimes it can be fear, because just listening to what Ashley was just saying about financial and all of this stuff, there is a lot of pressure on us as men. And if we're talking about black men, good Lord, it goes to 50th
Right,
like
right.
power as a black man in corporate America, all that stuff. I see it. And it is tough out there for us. So it's pressure on us as men to provide, to lead. And, we struggle. I mean, when we feel like we can't do that for our family, for our women, if we lose a job, if we feel like we're not, providing, just, financially, if we're not doing these things, it's tough on us. So if we see a woman that's confident, a woman that's got her own, a woman that's making money, and we may not be where we think we need to be in life, just for the moment, it's scary and it can be fearful to a man. And I don't care what you guys say. Don't let any man tell you that it's not, because it is. So yeah, just to answer that, absolutely. It can be fearful if we're not where we're supposed to be, and then it can be intimidating if we see a woman that's doing a lot better than we are, in that space. So yeah.
Ashley,
Yes.
do you think women truly want leadership or you think they want partnership?
I don't know. I think that maybe both. That's what I would want. Leadership and partnership. I want leadership, but I want to partner with. We should be able to partner together. There are some things that if the man I'm with is saying has this vision for, then at them I definitely, because I spoke on leadership, so obviously I want the leadership, but I want partnership as well. So I think most women want both
Hmm.
leadership and partnership. I want to be able to partner with you. Let's partner together, and that's how it should be, in my opinion, that we're partnering together. If we are one, that's what we should be doing. So I would say both for that.
I like that, but I
Come on.
reason why I asked that question was because actually someone was like, "Hey, I just need a partner.
No.
We can sleep in separate beds. We can do this." I just need them to help me with these bills. I was like,
What? What?
what do you
And
think
see,
about
wait a
this?
minute, whoa, because I was talking about partnership, like let's collaborate on these goals so we can meet these goals. You talking about a partner like, wait, whoa.
My partner for real.
Okay, you talking about a partner from that standpoint. No. I think and it may be a piece of what you asked him about independent women. I think more some of those with that mentality of the I don't need a man mentality want more of just a partner. Hey, let's do what we do. Let me just be honest. Let's have sex. Maybe and it has these certain stipulations, but it's not something where they're have to be because a lot of people now want options. We hear about rosters and all the things. So in a lot of cases, to me, if a person is more leaning toward a partnership, then my question would be why?
Tim?
Why are you okay and are willing to settle? Because to me, that's settling for just a partnership from the perspective you just brought as
Yeah.
far as partnership is concerned. Either we in this together or we not. No partnership. No partnership.
Look, I do think it's both, but I think as a leader, I think the best leaders, whether we're talking about husbands, wives, CEOs,
Mhm.
whatever, definitely make their people, and in this case, their wives, treat them like they are partners. And what I mean by that is you're not beneath me. Like you're not beneath me. Your opinion, your word. So you should be, if we're talking about a marriage and the husband and wife, the husband, okay, we can say he's the head of the household if we're talking spiritually. But then we have to. So that means that my wife, there should be no one on this earth, no other woman, whether it's my mom, my sister, somebody at work, whatever. There should be no other woman whose word holds more esteem and more height than my wife does.
Yes.
So if I'm the leader of this family, my wife should not feel like she's just a doormat or a stepping stone or whatever. She should feel like she's truly my partner. If there's something going on with the kids, if I'm not feeling a certain type of way, or if there's a big decision that I want to make that God has put on my heart to do with our family, I shouldn't do that without discussing it with the most important person that's in
I agree.
you know, my life. So in that aspect, we are partners.
Right.
The leadership aspect is, hey, God gave me a vision for our family. Hey, babe, this is what I see for my family. So now I'm coming to you. Talk to me. This is what I'm seeing. This is what I do. And then we talk that out. And I take into consideration what your fears, your desires, what you think, and I take that into consideration. So that's how I look at the whole leadership partnership thing.
I like that.
Well,
That was
Tim,
that was good.
should Rose be
Before you say that, Kim, one way I heard it put, which I like, as far as husband and wife, is it's like a CEO and a CFO.
Yes.
And so I love that because I mean, both roles they're different roles, but they're both important and imperative to the success of the company. And so as a husband and wife, it's like that. You got your CEO, you got your CFO, and we're collaborating as partners to make it happen.
Exactly.
I
So,
like
and I know you're trying to move on, Kim, but so for me, it's a macro type thing. So it's like, okay, if I'm the CEO and I come to her and I go to my wife and I give her the vision, there's certain things that I can't do. So we're talking about a family or a household, and I said, babe, this is what we want to do, A, B, C, and D. And somebody comes to me and they say, hey, man, what are you guys doing next weekend or whatever? And it's the example is, man, you know what? I don't even know, man. Let me check with my wife, man. Ask my wife. Type deal. Cause bruh, I don't know. Like,
He
look,
said, I
call
don't know.
Ashley and see, and Ashley gonna be able to, okay, well, I got the kids here. Don't worry about Tim. He know we going to ABC next week, but let me tell you the dynamics of it. It's A, B, C, and D, and we're gonna go here, and I got this already planned. Hey, I think that's what a partnership is.
Yes.
And we talked
I,
about it,
I
we know, but man, I don't know where we're going. Man, ask my wife. I have no clue, bro. So that's what
it's
I'm
somewhere. It's somewhere.
we're going somewhere, but look, she got the logistics of it.
And I'm glad you did stop me. You're right. It is like the CEO and the CFO, like you just said. I mean, you got to work together. Y'all have to know what's going on. And I think I personally think that's why God had to make two, a man and woman. Man was out there and he was like, let me get you somebody. Just let me get you somebody to keep
Right.
all
I mean,
this.
there's some areas that I may be weak in or not as knowledgeable in, and they may be my husband's strengths and vice versa. And as partners, those are the things as we discuss that I say, okay, well, Tim is better with finance, so let him handle that. And I'm maybe better with something over here. And so, we can delegate tasks in that way and do the things that, are we can be the most productive in.
Right.
Right.
And that just brought us to our next question.
Next.
Should roles be discussed early in dating?
Absolutely. Take it away, Tim.
Well, yeah. I do think so. I'm not a big fan of gender roles, right? So because sometimes people say, the man should take out the trash or the man should do
Yes.
this or the woman should do this. I'm not a big fan of gender roles. What I am a fan of roles though. And what I mean by that is if you two should do what works best for
For you.
your family.
Oh my God, that's it.
So if Ashley is better at this and the world may say, oh, the man's supposed to do that. No, for my family, she is amazing at this and I'm not so good at this.
Yep.
So let her do this. But then Ashley may say, okay, he is amazing when it comes to this. I can't do that. So now that's your role. That's what you do, baby, because you're better at this than me. So then when they come together, because you're a team, like, I mean, it's a whole team environment and it doesn't matter who plays what role. It just matters that the goal gets accomplished for your family.
I like that. So I want to say to that, I agree that gender roles, no, that the roles should be kind of discussed, kind of what you think, and I totally agree with what it should be, what works for the both of you, and not necessarily what society thinks a man or a woman should do, and whatever the case may be. And it's so crazy because I was dating a guy, getting to know, and that was one of the things that for me, I kind of made a decision. I don't think he'll be a good fit because he was more into the traditional gender roles. He had grown up with a mother that I think was more of a stay-at-home mom and did cooking 3 meals a day and doing, and so he kind of wanted that kind of woman. Well, I work. I work a full-time job. I actually work a full-time and a part-time job. My boys play soccer. I have practice 3 days a week. That don't include games. So you thinking I'm gonna cook every day? Probably ain't gonna happen. That's all I'm saying. But I grew up in a home where both of my parents worked, and even though my mom did more cooking than my dad, it still was one of those things that was a shared responsibility. And so I do think it's important early on because just like with this particular guy I'm talking about, had we moved further on and you know got to a point of maybe let's get a little serious. And then now we're talking about at that point what you expect. Then I feel like I've wasted time. So I definitely feel like those type of things should be talked about earlier on. Cause that's how you see if you guys are compatible and if you guys are on the same page, because the Bible does talk about can two walk together except they agree. So there are gonna be some things that I think everybody kind of has their deal breakers or their things that they're kind of a little more hard nosed on, but still, for the most part, y'all should be able to walk in the same direction and kind of have some similar thoughts on, or at least be able to compromise on. I will say that. You don't necessarily have to have the same thought, but are you willing to compromise to some degree when it comes to some of these roles?
And I think if you're dating the right way, you'll naturally navigate towards
Yep.
towards those roles, as you guys get to know each other. So, yeah.
I already know Ashley deal on this, so I ain't gonna ask her first. Cause she might get up out her chair, Tim,
I
and we
will
don't
not.
know.
I'm gonna sit down.
How do finances affect leadership roles?
Ooh, man, listen, if we talking about back in the day, it was daddy went out, worked all day, mama stayed home with the kids, daddy worked his back off and came back, had a good home cooked meal, and she took care of him because, he was out there working for the family. Nowadays it's been swapped. I think, man, black women probably are more educated than we are. So I think the roles have kind of been reversed a little bit. I think it all depends on the couple. So it depends on who you are and who you're dating. So there's some women out there who, if they make more than a man, they still can recognize that, hey, I make more than him, but he is a hardworking man. He has a job. He knows how to manage his money. He brings his money home. He's not out in the clubs spending and just tricking off money everywhere. And they're able to respect that and allow him to still be the man, even though they bring in more income. But unfortunately, that's in a perfect world. These days, it just depends on who makes so we talking about an imperfect world. It depends on who making the most money, because regardless of what happens, I think even if a woman making the most money, look, y'all get to fighting and arguing and you try to lay down the man of the house role. And she said, boy, bye. Because because and that's where that independent thing, boy, I don't need your.
It does.
She starts singing,
So,
boosting everything.
It
yeah.
does.
So you guys really have to be locked in and communicating when it comes to finances. And I say you really have to be equally yoked, and you really have to have a woman who understands how to allow a man to be and to feel like a man, even when you know that you are self-sufficient and you can do it on your own. We know y'all sisters we know y'all the stuff.
Yep.
But look, just let me feel like a man, even if you gotta lie to me. Just baby, you baby, oh yeah, you good. Just tell me I want Ashley. But we know.
Man.
Just let me think about it. Jesus. Yeah.
So that's my perspective on it.
Okay. Friend, ask the question one more time.
How do finances affect leadership roles?
I think he did a great job on that. I mean, I'm for real. I think he did a great job on that question. So I'm not going to cut up too bad. I don't think how finances affect leadership roles. Even though finance is important, I know I'm not the one that, because I make more money than you, I look down on you. And I feel like if my ex-husband was on here, he would, really both of them, can I just be honest, would vouch for that. I did not do that. You do feel like, and I can speak from a perspective of, and I'm trying to be careful how I say it because I don't want to put too much out there, but I want to speak from the perspective of making a certain type of money, and then if your husband's not making the same amount. So I was in that situation, and so it's tough. And you remember I told you I prayed about some things and God showed me me. I asked him to show me me. So it got to a point in the marriage where I was starting to lean that way a little bit. And the Lord was like, no, girl, that's not it. So and it's some other things that came with that I will not discuss, but it made me feel like I had to step in more of the leadership role. Not because I wanted to, because I'm perfectly fine with, on paper, I make more money, but still allowing you to be the leader. But obviously just a financial making more that doesn't necessarily make you a leader at the same time, if that makes sense. So I did feel like I was in situations where I was kind of left with no choice but to be the leader, because if you're not going to step up and be the leader, I don't care. I wanted you to be the leader. There were times I told my ex, I want you to be the head of the household. I want you to step up in this way. It's not about the monies per se. It's really not when we start talking about leadership, because it's so much more to that than just how much you're making. But, and maybe back to the previous question we had about intimidation versus fear, maybe the fact that I made more may have been he had a level of intimidation possibly. But I was definitely a person that what was ours was ours. Even things I had prior to the marriage, I still, like my house I had before we got married, I still was like, this is our home. It was never, when I got married, oh, you can't stay here because this is my house. I never did that. I don't move that way. If we together, we together. Our money is our money. Whether I'm making more, you making more, it's our money. And that's kind of how I looked at that. So, friend, I didn't cut up too bad.
Okay. Woo. Woo.
And me and Tim want to, have a conversation, because I can off camera
And look,
give him the real details of this.
Yeah, look, we PG-13 in it right now.
Exactly.
Listen, our spot is Apollos.
Exactly. Oh, Tim, you gotta come meet us at Apollos. Okay.
You say Apollos? Girl,
Yes.
I love Apollos. What?
What?
The Greek spot right there?
There it is.
Yeah.
We're gonna set it up.
Look, I be on the phone with my mama all the time. Talking about, I'm at Apollos. She like, you there again? Good Lord.
Which one you go to?
The one right there in, what is it, Township?
Where?
Or is it Ridgeland? Somewhere right there.
In the Renaissance. In the Renaissance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Y'all must go to the one in Jackson.
We
Yeah.
go to one in Highland Village.
Yeah, yeah. I've never
Mhm.
been to that one, but the one, yeah, I'm at the one in Jack.
And actually, we thought about going there, Tim, but we end up going.
To Pedro's.
Yeah,
Pedro's.
yeah.
What's
All right,
Pedro?
y'all.
I
We
know
got
it is.
one more question and we finna wrap it up.
Okay, okay.
All right,
We got one more question. Y'all ready? Y'all good?
I'm
we
good.
good.
After these two divorces we have seen, are you guys more afraid of commitment now?
Man, that's a
I'm
good
more
question.
afraid of commitment to the wrong one. Let me just say that. Like, that's my whole thing. It's not that I'm afraid of commitment, and I know I'm called to be a wife. So I'm not one that's, oh, I don't want to get, you got some people, I don't want to be married again and I'm fine being by myself. I'm not going to tell that lie. No, I want to be a wife. I have that desire. And so I'm not afraid of commitment, but I'm definitely cautious because I do not want to commit to the wrong one. I will say that.
Oh, it's my turn,
Oh, yeah. I
man.
kept that short and sweet, honey,
So
because
look,
that's
let me
just,
look. Let me just be completely 100% real with you. I told you before the type of guy I am. I,
you like the court.
yeah, I am 50-year married type dude. That's what that's who I am. So I've always been committed. That's who I am. That's eternally who I am. Okay.
Okay.
So I went through 2 divorces though. It's a bunch of craziness in the first one, and the second one was I won't speak ill on the second one. There were some things that I think we could have done a lot better, but I wouldn't speak ill or negatively on the second one. But when I got out of the second one, when I said, I'll be completely honest with you, I was like, your boy got trust issues. I was like, I don't know if I'll be able to do this anymore because it's exhausting, getting to know somebody, giving yourself to somebody. It takes a lot, especially when you're committed. Because for me, most men can just go out, or most women can just go out and do their thing, and, they can hop from person to person. I'm not that type of guy. Like, I have to be mentally locked in with you. There has to be some type of upside. I don't just date just to be dating. I date for a purpose. I date for commitment. I date, I don't just go out and do the casual thing. So for a long time, I was like, I'm never doing this again. I'm like, I'm
Oh,
tired of
wow.
it. Be by myself. I'm going to go do my thing. I said, God, you send me where you want me to go. Hey, I'm available. Do your thing. But then as I prayed, as I went through what I went through, I would be lying to myself if I told y'all that I didn't want to commit again. That would be a lie. Like, I love being a husband. I love the idea of a family, spending the rest of my life with someone, getting to know that person, loving that person loving me, studying that person studying me, and us being a team together. I absolutely love that idea. That's who I am. It's ingrained in me. So I will not tell you guys that I don't want to be committed again, because that would be a lie. Just like Ashley said, I am terrified of a third divorce. You hear me?
Yes.
So, and the scary part about that is I don't want that to keep me from finding who God has for me. That's the scary part for me. That I'll find someone and God will be like, this is your person. But then the past hurts and all that stuff will come in and will keep me from moving forward with that person.
Can I say
Yeah.
something
Sure.
about that? And I tell Kim this all the time. I said, whoever I end up with, whoever's for me, one thing they'll have to have is patience. And I feel like that even with what you're saying, whoever this woman is that's for you will have to have, there will be a level of patience that she'll have. She'll understand there's hurt and be patient with you through that. And I know for me, because of a lot of what I went through, that would look like reassurance in some areas. Not to the point I need to see everything and all like that, but I'm a person that I believe in, okay, do what you said. Like, if you say you're going to do something, follow through with that. So with time, just being patient with, okay, she needs that reassurance that I'm saying I'm going to do this, and then and then I do it. With time, there are, because of the things I've dealt with time, that ease my mind when it comes to this and that, and then I kind of get more comfortable and I feel safe. Remember, we talked about that. So I think even for you, with whatever you've gone through, I don't know the details, but there is a woman that's gonna have the patience for your situation.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like.
Yeah.
Like there will be a woman that's perfectly fine with that. She's going to understand with certain things you may have to move a little slower in that area or gain whatever trust in whatever area, and she's going to be perfectly fine with that. And I think that those that, even though we're both saying yes, we're committed people in general, and we want this again, those that can say, no, I don't want to be married anymore and all like that makes me question, have you truly healed from, and healing a lot of times is a process.
It is.
But most of those that say that, they're so hurt and so damaged to the point and not working on whatever that they need to do to get past that's is almost like that's their defense. Well, I know how to fix not being hurt again. I just won't get in another relationship. I just won't get married again. And so even in that, the main thing that person needs is healing through prayer, through counseling, through whatever it is that they need to do for them. But most people are really hurt. So then they put the wall up of, I just don't want to be committed. I don't want to be married. Now we talking about casual this and that because that's all they don't want to, they want to keep people at a distance.
Yeah.
They want to put the walls up. But I think, like I said, I've been through some things. There are some things that are softer spots for me or triggers that I know someone is going to have to be patient with me and just understand she just needs a little more time in that area or a little more reassurance with that. All I got to do, for me, if you're showing me consistency with things, that's all I need. Just be
Yeah.
consistent.
That's
Be
what I
truthful,
heard.
be upfront, be consistent.
Yeah, that's what I heard, and everything you just said is the consistency. And I think what I went through, because I'm always that type of person. I'm not afraid of making a mistake. Anybody that knows me would tell you, look, I'm that guy who says, hey man, if I'm afraid, I'm just gonna do it scared and see what happens, type deal. Like I am, because I don't want to miss what God has
Yep.
for me just
Yep.
because
I'm scared.
of some type of fear. And
Yeah.
we know, of course, God is not the author of fear. So I never want to miss what God has for me because I'm afraid. And I will tell any black men that may hear this, or black men that may hear this or are listening to this, get some counseling, get some therapy, work on yourself so that when you meet this woman, you ain't driving her freaking insane. You're working on yourself. You know what I mean? You got all these traumas and these past issues that you bringing on her, and she like, good Lord, man, work on yourself. Do what you have to do to get yourself, and then be honest with people up front, communicate with people up front. And I think that's where that patience comes in. When you meet the person that God created for you, they'll see that you're working towards being a better person. But you have to put that work in, though, for yourself. So, yeah.
I like that. And what you about to say,
I
Ashley?
was just saying, I like that. And I like that he said to the men about counseling, because we as women meet so many men that they have, whether they have issues from childhood or a certain relationship and they haven't dealt with it. Because like I said, I think a lot of men feel like going to counseling, things like that, a lot of that stuff is a sign of weakness. Even showing feelings, even being vulnerable is a sign of weakness. And so in a lot of ways, I think I'm speaking for women in general, sometimes we don't know how to help you as a man. We don't know how to be there for you because the level of communication is not what it needs to be. I can be there for you if you can communicate to me what's going on and what you need from me. But a lot of men cannot articulate that in a way because they're nervous about it, or they don't like the, most men don't like the feeling of being vulnerable. They don't.
Right.
So a lot of times we're guessing and trying to figure out, and maybe it's this or maybe it's that. And then sometimes with the men, it's hidden under anger or, just different things. And you're trying to get to the root of it. And it's a lot of us that don't mind helping you navigate that. Because I know, just like I spoke on a safe space, men need a safe space too.
Yes.
Women, we cannot jump on these men when they're trying to communicate what they need and what they want. And a lot of women do make that mistake where they're just so hard that I can see why some men don't want to talk to women the
Yep.
way some women are with men. I can.
Absolutely. And I can tell you, as a man, if I am comfortable enough to be vulnerable with you and to let you into that space and you burn me,
Oh,
never again. And that goes for you and future women, because it's such a, we as men, we've been taught in society, hey, we don't cry, we have to be strong. And that's the biggest lie that anybody,
Big.
I'll tell everybody, man, we go through it. We have emotions too. We're not just these hard human beings. And a lot of times when we go out here, and I'll just say, get our ass whooped out here, we are looking to come home to a
Safe.
soft spot to lay our.
Yes.
And then when we do that and we come to you and we have to be Superman out here, but then when we come home and you see Clark Kent and then you say, oh God, I want Superman. And we're trying to show you who we really are. And then it's like, oh, I will never show her that again. So that's a lot of times when you get that hurt and that hardness that comes from men. And then a lot of times it's not fair for you guys if we've experienced that before, even if it's in childhood. It's like you were just saying, hey, I don't know how to help you because you won't allow me to. Well, I'm scared. And it may not be because of you. It may be because of something that I've experienced before. So that's why I say men, and myself included, get your counseling, talk to people about what you're feeling, get that stuff out there so we're not messing these sisters up.
Now, I
Yeah.
will say one thing you mentioned about being Superman and then coming back and being Clark Kent. One thing you hear men talk about too is I want her to be my peace and all these things. I think women have the capability to be peace for a man. However, there are men that are bringing a lot of drama to the relationship, to the marriage, but then you're looking for peace at the same time. And it's just not going to happen. So a lot of times their unsettling feel you get at home has a lot to do with if you're bringing the drama, whether it's how you talk to her and things like that, or being, because I've dealt with that. I've had, been in marriage where I'm being talked down to, not necessarily cursed out and all of that, but just rude in tone and just how a thing is answered. And so in a lot of that way, and as a woman, I'm drawing back a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
you
You're going to
know,
shut down.
right.
Yep.
So I can't, it's hard for me to be a safe space if you're moving that way,
Right.
so I just think I would just encourage men to be mindful of that and understand that we can be a safe space, but just be careful with how you talking to her, how you moving with her. And let's be real, I'm gonna say it. We can't sleep with everybody, bring all that kind of drama too.
That's
And
a
then want
whole
the woman to
different
act
thing.
like I done told you now, so girl, get over it,
Right. Nah. Yeah, we can't
so
do that. I
yeah.
mean, you're right. Like, and I will say it just for men and myself in general, like, we have to make sure that when we come home, we're not bringing that into the house because Ashley ain't do nothing to me. It was, I'm outside and I got beat up out here and now
Right.
I'm coming home and you just become my punching bag because I'm comfortable with you. So, but I wouldn't do that outside. I took all this stuff at work and all of it
Yeah,
built up, but
yeah.
now I come home. Now, that's not fair for you. Yeah, we do have to be mindful of that. So I agree.
Okay, y'all, that wraps it up. So, life after divorce isn't about starting from nothing, it's about starting again for wisdom. It's
Yes.
realizing that you didn't fail, you graduated. You learn what love costs, what peace feels like, and what you'll never do again. Divorce doesn't make you broken, it makes you clear. Clear about your needs, clear about your worth, clear about your kind of partnership you want and deserve, most of all. This season isn't bitterness, revenge, or proving anything, actually. It's about becoming so whole that the next love doesn't complete you, it meets you. So if you're walking through life and you're going through a divorce, you're not late, you're not behind, you're right on time, and the best chapters are still waiting to be written. And as always, this conversation is just between us. Thank y'all so much.
It's
Wow, that was powerful. Like when I say we probably could have talked about that over and over and over again and just getting different people perspective. That was amazing. Ashley and Tim really broke down life after divorce and things that need to happen during the divorce. Now, your next topic person would just be me because I felt like I needed to give a me story because I am also divorced. And I need to give a story of why the shame probably overtook me. I need to give the story of what actually happened. And honestly, I don't owe it to anybody, but I do owe it to myself to be able to speak on this. Tell me what you guys think. What's up? How y'all feeling? So I really want to kind of jump in here because we had life after divorce. You guys, that is a powerful, powerful episode that I think that we need to share, that we need to tag our friends, because we do know one person, two person, three person that either is going through a divorce or either thinking about a divorce or actually getting over a divorce. And I had amazing two people on my show. But as I was listening to it, as I was, I wanted to you guys to hear more and know more and learn more. I realized and it convicted me that I never really told my story. No one really knew what happened. And because of that, people often wonder, are you divorced? You sure you divorced? But if we just be honest, I think I was practicing in delusional. I actually was divorced with the papers and all, but still operating within a marriage. And the reason why was because a lot of times, I'm going to be honest, the shame. Then we had so much going on. Oh my God. I had a new business. I had my son was just now going to Ole Miss, going to college. I was changing over from actually leaving Kroger slash fired from Kroger to actually going into my own business where I'm like, okay, am I trusting God with this or am I really doing this? And if anybody know, the scariest time of your life is really opening up a business. So without any further, we're really going to start asking the questions that we asked our guests. One of the questions were, who were you before your marriage? And who are you now? If we be honest, you guys, I got married so young. That's the thing about getting married so young and what's going on. I got married so young. I really was in a relationship so young. I didn't even know who I was. Didn't know Kim. I didn't know Kimmy Sweet. I didn't know Kimberly White. That's my main name. And I damn sure barely even knew who Kimberly Ruffin was. It wasn't until I got the divorce. It wasn't until I went through the bakery, was in my second bakery, that I actually learned who I was and what I brought to a table and what I was able to bring to my family. And as far as losing myself, I never found it. Have you imagined yourself never finding who you are? Again, I didn't know who I was until after I had all that happening. And I had to create who I wanted to be. After I had made a million mistakes, you guys, I had made a million mistakes, even through my marriage. And I only can talk about me. If he chooses to talk about him, that's one thing. I had made a million mistakes. And it was just trying to fix it, if we be honest, trying to fix it, trying to get it right, trying to go left when I should have went right, trying to go forward when constantly I was going backwards and I was like, what the hell am I doing? As I went with my kids, oh my God, crazy. And when did I realize it was over? If I be honest, I never realized it. I didn't realize it until after the counseling, and my counselor said, you have to move forward, because I was still so into the marriage. I was still going. I was still seeing this person. I had life like it never even stopped. We know we wasn't living together. No, no. But in my head, life was still going on. And I never really got a chance. That was right after COVID again. We had so much going on. Grieving, man, I grieved so much. I don't even know when it started, how it ended. I'm going to be honest. I don't know. I didn't know, because sometimes that's how life is. Life takes you so fast. Before you can try to close one door, another door is already opening, and all the shit from that door that's opening has came in. And you got stuff come from forward, backwards. And I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? What have I done? What about my kids? Not what about myself. What about my kids? What about my mom? What about my dad? What about my business? It just went crazy. I remember my dad had COVID. He had 5 strokes and he couldn't walk. And when you talk about how the divorce messed my self-worth up, I was down. I was down bad. I mentally, physically, and you guys, the bad thing about it, if you go back to that time, I probably gave a smile and an encouraging word every day, but I was broken to no return. I moved back to Canton. I closed my business. Had my child was with his father, and my other child was doing football and out of state, and and I was down. I was very, 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 very broken. Self worth, I'm talking, if we do a 1 to 10, I was at a 0. I didn't even know who I was at all. It wasn't until I put my dad in a nursing home and God really had to take me and say, "Do you know I made you?" He said, "Do you know I made you?" Because I used to always say, "Why would you make me to be a stumping ground for somebody? Why would you make me to be this? Why is all this stuff happening to me?" He said, "I didn't make you for that. I build you through that. I didn't make you for that. Look at you. I made that." And it wasn't until later on, as time went on, and he said, "It's time to heal. It's time to do something else." As far as friends, and they talk about that in the episodes, I was so close because I was so damn embarrassed about really being divorced. I thought I had just did the worst thing ever. So I didn't have the friends that I had some friends, but I didn't have enough friends to say, "Get your ass up. I would not let you wallow in this." Because I was shamed. I was shamed. Even though I was moving, I was still so far behind. And that was crazy. That was crazy. As I told you before, delusional, diabolical. And when I say my self-worth felt so bad, I was just like, "Oh my God, where am I? When am I going to get up? How is this going to impact me?" I mean, it was impacting my kids. It was impacting everything around me. Just because I was scared. I didn't know what was going to happen around me. I didn't know what was next. PTSD at its finest. Just really not myself. Didn't know who I was. If I looked in the mirror, you saw Kim, you probably was like, "Damn, she fine." But mine scattered as hell. Mine was scattered. And actually, when I started feeling like myself again, it wasn't until, and when I say God had to work on me, he had to work on me. I tossed out things that I was doing as we still was operating like we were together or talking every day. I had to kind of slow some of that down. We had an incident that was very horrible, and I was like, okay, this is it. You got to figure it out, baby girl. And you got to figure it out now. Either you going to go left or you going to go right. And at that time, I had reconnected with Ashley that's on the podcast. She was like, "What are y'all doing? What are you doing?" And when you have to answer that question out loud to yourself and it don't sound good, that's one of the worst feelings it is ever. It didn't even sound, at one time, I was probably being like, I don't know. I really don't know, Ashley. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what we doing. And it was hard. It was just a horrible feeling, a horrible saying. It was crazy. And I think that helped me to turn like, I gotta want more. I deserve more. I want more. I deserve more. And I should go get more. And whatever I'm going through, I got to make a choice. And I gotta make one now. If it's gonna be hard, I gotta walk that hard way. Because this not easy right here. And I had to, people like, "Oh, I had to relearn myself." No, I had to learn myself. I had to say, "Girl, who are you? And who do you want to be?" I honestly had to teach Kim who was Kimmy Sweet, who would, and that's when I started speaking life into me. Bump life into somebody else, life into me. Being able to say, "I can't take this," being able to have boundaries, being able to be like, something, this is over. It's a wrap. Being able to say, "Okay, I accept this." Being able to say, "Hey, I really want somebody to love on me and love on me the right way because I deserve that. And I really want to love on somebody else the right way because they deserve that." I have to stop eating myself up. I have to stop beating myself up. And I have to get up, dust my pants off, and let's go. And even now, my tolerance of relationships, because I had to learn even during that marriage, everything ain't a go. Everything you can't do. I want to be so in love. I want to be so hooked up and so loving that person. I just want to see us and I want him to see us. So that's the way I had to learn how to love. And I had to let go, honestly, and that's to me what a healthy relationship look like, where we can talk, we can laugh, we can let go, we can love each other. Are we gonna have arguments? Sure, we're two different people. I mean, come on now, shit. Y'all gonna have shit. We can argue at the end of the day. I might even hit you. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. But at the end of the day, we finna lay down. And I want to be loved the way God wants you to love, the way God wants him to love on me. And I want to love on that person the same way. I want to make him smile. I want to feel what he's feeling. And I want to be able to apologize when I need to. I don't want him to be sad because I don't want to be sad. I want to be that peace. That's why I do my best. I ain't gonna say I'm just 100%, perfect, but I want to be peace in every aspect. I'm too old. I'm too old. So one of the biggest lessons that my divorce taught me, shit, don't be cheating. Don't cheat. That is real big. Don't cheat. Like, I don't like it when that shit happened to me. And so therefore I cannot issue nothing out if I don't want it back. There you go. Stop fucking cheating. I know it's hard, but just stop. And that just shifted my mind with everything. Like, be the person that you want to be. Love the way you want to be loved. Treat the person that's what I want. That's the type of love that I want. Care for that person like you want that person cared for. And as far as I see, one of my questions on here was, how did I tell my kids? Girl, my kids was walking around there talking about they ain't know what was going on. If you ask them, they be like, I don't know what they doing. You know why? Because we didn't know what we was doing. I didn't want my kids split up. I didn't want my kids to have to do a divorce. My kids is all me. We do. It's all we knew. I got pregnant at 14. So my oldest boy, we raised up with him. He didn't know nothing else. And my little boy, he never been without his mom or his dad. So staying together was probably one of the biggest things that we were doing. And we did a lot for the kids. Yes, we managed a lot for the kids. And that was life after divorce for me, if we be honest. That was a lot. Honestly, that was a lot to even get off my chest. Learning how to be patient, learn how to be kind, learning that in one season of my life, I was very shameful of just who I was. I was very shameful to even go out and about. So being able to stand up into being who I am is my new me. And I learned how to give myself grace every freaking day. And that's my story. Bye. And thank you again just for listening to Life After Divorce podcast, just between us with Kimmy's. Bye, y'all.